Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be listing off, in my opinion, the top 10 best horror movie remakes. So yeah, let's just begin. At number 10 is one that I don't actually own, and that's the remake of Evil Dead. Yeah, I kind of had mixed feelings about the remake for quite a while, but honestly, when I finally made up my mind about what I thought about it, I actually like it way better than the original Evil Dead. Yeah, sure, people complain that, oh, Ash Williams isn't in it for the most part, except for, the very end. But honestly, that doesn't really, make it bad, considering that in the original Evil Dead, Ash Williams was there, but he didn't really do much. He was just kind of like, I guess, like, the default lead near the end. But, it wasn't really, Ash Williams, Ash Williams would, the character would, grow and develop, first in the second Evil Dead and then in Army of Darkness as well as the TV show. But as for Ash in the original, he's just there. He doesn't really contribute much to the movie. So having no Ash in the remake is not a big deal at all. Now, as for the characters, I think they are a little bit better in the remake. They're not standout characters, but they do feel, somewhat relatable in some sense, as compared to the ones in the original. They're just kind of bland and forgettable. As for the score, the actual musical score in the remake, it's decent. But again, that's the same thing as the original. The score isn't that good. The score would be a lot better than the second Evil Dead, but in the first one, it's just kind of eh. The two things that I think are the best about the remake, the special effects, the gore effects, the makeup looks so good. Yeah, there's a little bit of CGI sprinkled throughout, but for the most part, it's practical effects, and it looks so good. But the original, even compared being the original to Part 2, Part 2 has way better special effects, but in the original, the special effects are so bad. They're really, really bad. But yeah, so I do think the remake of Evil Dead is definitely better than the original. But yeah, I absolutely love the remake, and I think it's better than the original, and the remake of Evil Dead is at number 10. Number 9. Number 9 is the remake of The Wolfman, from 2009, I believe. No, 2010. I was close. But yeah, 2010. Now, I know people praise the original from the 40s, and yeah, it's good for the most part. Like, I love Lon Chaney's performance, the side characters, the background characters, they're fine. But I love his performance, I love the atmosphere and even the set design in terms of, especially with the forest and the mist and the moon and stuff. I think that's all really good, and the score is also really good. But the two major things that I don't like about the original Wolfman, first off, the werewolf design. The Wolfman design itself looks really bad. Like, literally, you just take the fangs and claws away. He literally just looks like a person suffering from that disease that makes you have hair all over your body. He doesn't look intimidating. He just looks kind of goofy. And the other thing I don't like about the original, though, the werewolf transformation is also really bad. It's extremely boring, so anticlimactic. Like, it's literally just like either like sitting, still, or like standing still, and hair slowly, patches of hair slowly grows on him. It's just a very boring, forgettable, and dull werewolf transformation. But the werewolf transformation in this movie, however, is really, really, really good. And the werewolf design, yeah, it's somewhat reminiscent of the original, but I do think they very much improved with the design. It looks really, really good. And again, the werewolf transformation really good. It stands out. Where during the werewolf transformation of Lawrence Talbot in this movie, like the arms stretch, the legs stretch. You could hear you could hear and see bones cracking and rearranging and stuff. It's just a really I think there's two werewolf transformation scenes in this one. One earlier on and one later. They're both really cool looking. But yeah. Also, I think the story in this one's a lot better, and the characters, also Lawrence Talbot, but also every other character in this movie is way better and way more interesting. Now, in terms of the Lawrence Talbot character, I do think he isn't quite as good as Lon Chaney's performance, but he does pretty well. But again, like I said, the other characters just kind of outshine him, other than when he's the Wolfman, then he outshines them. But yeah, I absolutely love the remake. I think it's a definite improvement over the original, But yeah, I absolutely love it, and it's at number 9. Alright, number 8. Number 8 is another one I don't own, and that's the remake of Night of the Demons. The original Night of the Demons is good, but the remake is just so much better. I think the characters are a little bit more interesting. The design and the gore effects are way better. And yeah, sure, the characters aren't as unique as the original, but honestly, in terms of what I would want from Night of the Demons movie, I want to see the demons wreak havoc. I want to see them, killing off people, blood and gore everywhere, and that's what the remake delivers. It doesn't spend too much time on developing the characters, with certain movies, certain horror movies, that is a must, but in terms of Night of the Demons movie, I love how they mostly focus on just, the gore, the blood, the demons, just, killing everyone off in really cool and gory ways. But yeah, I absolutely love the remake. Yeah, sure, the original's good. I do like the original, but the remake just has so much more to it. But yeah, and also the story's way better. But yeah, Night of the Demons is at number 8. I know, the remake. At number 7 is the Rob Zombie Halloween remake. This movie gets shit on so much, and especially the sequel to it. But honestly, I don't see the issue here. Now, I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm not a fan of the original Halloween movies besides the third one. I think the third one's really good. But yeah, I just don't really like the original Halloween series. But yeah, the remake is amazing. One of the major issues I have with the original series, especially with the first and second movies, and most of them later on, is Michael Myers, at least to me, in terms of the original Michael Myers throughout the original series, is not an intimidating presence. He doesn't give off the, fear that something like Jason Voorhees does, or even Leatherface or whatever. The original Michael Myers, from the original series for the most part, is this really tall but extremely skinny dude in overalls and a white William Shatner mask. He looks really goofy, and I know that's an iconic look. I know people, think it's intimidating, but to me it's just not, and then you have, I guess some lazy writing of, he's hard to kill, you can't really kill him. Again, to me, it's just lazy writing to make their character invincible and, to, continue with sequels after he's seemingly killed off. Now, it doesn't work with Michael Myers, I think it works, with, Freddy Krueger, because he is pretty much a spirit. You can't kill a spirit. And I think it works with Zombie Jason because of just the way Zombie Jason is portrayed for the most part. But with Michael Myers, the whole, you can't kill him because he's immortal, just doesn't really work. you know? And again, he doesn't give off an intimidating presence because he's so skinny, so goofy looking in that white mask and everything. But as for the remake, yeah, sure, they keep the white mask, but they, dirty it up a bit and stuff. But in the remake, he is an intimidating presence. He's this huge, hulking figure. He's really intimidating, and he just gives off that, oh, I don't want to fuck with this person type vibe that, Michael Myers from the original series just doesn't give off. And I love how they, tell the backstory of Michael Myers and how he became this psychotic serial killer. He was just raised in a really shitty family and no one cared about him and he got bullied, and it just gives, reason to why he does what he does in the remake. And yeah, I just love the remake. Again, not a fan of the original series, but I love the remake. And I even like the sequel to the Rob Zombie remake. Yeah, sure, it's extremely out there. But again, to me, it just... The portrayal of Michael Myers in those two Rob Zombie movies, to me, is just so much more, it's just so much more than any time in the original series. But yeah, I absolutely love the Rob Zombie movies, especially the first one. But yeah, the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween is at number 7. Alright, number 6, another one that I don't own. And that's House of Wax from 1953. Not a lot of people know this, but it's actually a remake. It's a remake of an even older movie, I believe a silent film, called Mystery at the Wax Museum. Now, I have never really seen the original movie, but, of course, I have seen the House of Wax 1953 movie with Vincent Price. It's so good. And oh yeah, there's a remake of that one from around the mid-2000s, I believe. I don't remember exactly when that one came out, but it's extremely overlooked and very underrated. But yeah, anyway, back to the 1953 movie. Everything works with this one. The score, the story, Vincent Price, in any movie he's ever been in, does an amazing job. Like, he's very believable as this traumatized, sort of psychotic artist who, decides to make more lifelike wax figures from real people. It's just a really good movie, a very classic movie, and one of Vincent Price's best performance. Yeah, I absolutely love it, and it's at my number 6. Alright, number 5. Number 5 is The Mummy from 1999. I love the original, and here's the thing. I don't think this is better than the original, because I love that one. Boris Karloff and everyone involved, for the most part, does an amazing job. I think that's a classic movie that can't be beat. But I think this is, in a way, just as good as the original. Yeah, the story's completely different. Yeah, this is sort of more of action-adventure than horror. But honestly, it's just a fun movie to watch. And I enjoy every minute of it, even the extremely goofy parts I absolutely love. Brendan Fraser does an amazing job as Rick O'Connell. I forgot his name, but the guy who plays, Evie's brother, Jonathan, is hilarious. Yeah, apparently there's people out there who think his performance is annoying, but I think, the guy, again, I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays Evie's brother, Jonathan, is super funny. The set design is amazing. The score is so good. In fact, the only thing I think is superior about this movie compared to the original, 1930, was it 3? The original Mummy is the score. The original score, the first one, is really the only weak point of that movie, but the score in this movie is amazing. So catchy, so iconic. But yeah, I absolutely love this movie as well as the other two in the franchise. But yeah, very good movie. It's at my number 5 fifth best remake, 5th best horror remake. Sorry about that. now at number 4. Wait, hold on. Oh, I forgot to put it on the list. Oh, yeah, anyway. Number 4... Oh, wait, hold on. No, oh, yeah, sorry, I was right. I almost got mixed up. Number 4 is the 80s Invasion of the Body Snatcher remake. Yeah, it's another one that I don't actually own. But, yeah, the original one, the black and white one, is decent. But the one from the 80s is so iconic. You know, everything from the actual, like, pod people things themselves, you know, kind of really creepy. You know, the score is great, and of course that one so iconic scene in it. You know, where the main character, you know, finds the you know, other main character. Again, I haven't seen it in a while, so I forgot all their names. But you know, and then you know, like the guy's actually been taken over, and he sees her and he goes, "Ah!" Yeah, just such an iconic movie, and it beats out the original in every way. Yeah, I mean, there's been other remakes of that movie after that, which range from okay to terrible, but the 80s one is just so good. But yeah, the 80s remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers is at number 4. Alright, number 3. Number 3 is the remake of Friday the 13th. This one is interesting because it's not just a remake of the first one. It sort of combines the elements of the first 3 Friday the 13th, puts them together and, you know, blends them. Now, just like with, you know, kind of like with the first Halloween movie, I do not like the original Friday the 13th. In fact, it's not even a Friday the 13th movie. The original Friday the 13th, you know, this movie is not a Friday the 13th movie, even despite the title. It's actually a glorified Halloween knockoff. Yeah, it legitimately is. Even the director, Sean S. Cunningham, said in an interview that when he first was talking about, you know, making a horror movie, you know, that would eventually become Friday the 13th, he stated back then, he said, "Let's rip off Halloween." Yeah, it's a glorified Halloween knockoff, not really a Friday the 13th movie, and it's extremely boring except for the last part. The end part with, you know, Mrs. Voorhees. I think the end is really cool, but the rest of the movie's kind of bland and forgettable, kind of generic. Again, because it was supposed to be a knockoff of Halloween. As for the remake, though, I love it. This is one of the most intimidating Jasons, besides Jason from Part 7, and I'd say Part 4, parts 4, 7, and 6. Wait, reverse that. Parts 4, 6, and 7. There we go. This is also another really, you know, intimidating Jason. In fact, I think this is the smartest Jason has ever been. You know, he sets traps for his victims, you know, and stuff like that. He's sort of a survival guy. And I really like Derek Mears' performance as Jason. I think that's his name. I don't see the credit on here, but I think his name is Derek Mears. I might be wrong. But yeah, I think it's just a way better movie than the original. Jason is human again in this one, you know, just like with the first 4 Friday the 13th films. And as for the human Jasons, this is the best depiction. He's very intimidating, very brutal, and very smart. The score is also really good. Not as iconic or memorable as the score in the original, but, you know, it's still, again, pretty good. But yeah, I absolutely love this remake, and I'll watch this anytime over the original. But yeah, that's at number 3. Alright, number 2. Number 2 is Bram Stoker's Dracula. The closest Dracula movie to the novel. Yeah, this is just an iconic film. Sure, you could say the 1931 Dracula film is more iconic, but just like with, like, the original Halloween, the original, Friday the 13th, I think is an extremely overrated film. Not a bad film. I do somewhat enjoy it a little bit, where I don't really enjoy the original Friday the 13th or, Halloween. But with the 1931, I do enjoy it somewhat. But I do believe that this is way better, I'm not going to go into full details because I am tomorrow going to do a video on the top 10 most overrated horror movies. But, as for this version of Dracula, again, way more accurate to the novel. Gary Oldman's performance is, in my opinion, the best performance anyone has ever given in a Dracula film in terms of, people playing Dracula. Probably only, almost outclassed by, of course, Christopher Lee. I think Christopher Lee is the second best Dracula. Gary Oldman is the first best Dracula. Yeah, and then the score, I've said this many times, but the score, the soundtrack of this movie is my favorite movie soundtrack of all time. Just so operatic, so, imposing and so dramatic. Yeah, I absolutely love it, and I love how they added in some stuff too. They kept close to the novel, but they added stuff too. The love story between Dracula and Mina, the backstory of Dracula being Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, it just adds to the awesomeness of this movie. All right, number one is probably most people's number one, and that's John Carpenter's The Thing. Yeah, it's the best horror movie remake ever. Yeah, I mean, the original Thing from Another Planet, Another World, whatever it's called, is a very generic sci-fi, a generic 50s sci-fi film. But this, unlike that one, is way, I'd say this is probably 99 to 100% more accurate to the short story Who Goes There than the original. Yeah, what can I say that hasn't been said about this one? Great acting from everyone involved. Rob Bottin's special effects are top-notch, as always. The atmosphere of isolation and paranoia really works with this movie. And yeah, I think it's the best horror movie remake ever. But yeah, that's at number one. Alright, so that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.